have to understand something. There is always another level. You may have achieved a lot in your life. You may be at the very top in one or more areas of your life. But you will not stay at the top unless you are hungry to grow, hungry to improve, hungry to reach the next level. Even if you have to build that level yourself. You may be achieving more than anyone around you, but maybe the standard of people around you needs to improve. Maybe they are making you complacent.
If you keep doing what you've always been doing, you'll keep getting what you've always got. You deserve more out of this life, but you'll never get more unless you are willing to do more and do it differently to the majority.
Don't live your life like the rest. Study the very few at the very top. Have the courage to stand for what you want in life, no matter what they say. Have the courage to travel your own path, however dark it may be. At some point, there will be light, if you keep going.
You must set the standard. You decide what level the bar will be raised to. That's the difference between the majority and the few. The few are always hungry.
Hello, everyone. This is the ONEALIEN from the ONEALIEN Show. Hey, thanks for tuning in and listening. This is episode 2. Before we get started, man, I just wanted to say thank you. I appreciate all of the feedback and comments from everyone who listened to episode 1 and who left messages, private messages, or text even. Man, the support was fantastic. I really needed it. We all need it, right? When we start something new, we love to have a little bit of motivation and a little bit of acceptance. And so episode 1 was phenomenal. I enjoyed it. And most importantly, I am honored and privileged that you enjoyed it as well. Hey, so let's get started. Episode 2, we're back again in the mind of the ONEALIEN, the crazy place that is, the vastness that is. And so I have a few thoughts that I wanted to share with everybody today. And so thanks again for listening. And in the first episode, I talked a little bit about what this show is about and what some of the things philosophically that I'll be covering. And after a few comments, I wanted to touch base really quick while we get started on this episode 2 and talk about a couple things that it is not. Okay, a couple things that you may come here looking for and you're just not going to be satisfied because I just don't feel it's important. And that's not the way my mind works. There you go. That's just it. If my mind doesn't work a certain way, then we might as well not even address it. A couple things that the ONEALIEN Show is not. Number one, it's not religious. Hey, listen, I am a professed Christian. I love the Lord. I have witnessed the power in my life. I have witnessed the lack of power in my life, which is probably more significant. I have witnessed my weakness and I have witnessed personally what has given me the strength personally to rise up and above. And therefore, that is where I'm at. Now, as far as religion, as far as some of your rules and regulations, and as far as your traditions and all those things, this show is not a religious show. We will not be talking about religion. We may touch base at times on relationship, and there's a spiritual aspect to relationship. So certainly that might come into play. But this is not a Christian episode. This is not an episode that we'll be doing a whole bunch of things, pointing out other religions or this religion or rating them or talking about the pros and cons. Or this is just not the place for that. So if that's what you're looking for, hey, no problem. You can certainly search your dial and find that. The other thing that the ONEALIEN Show is not, and that is a political show. My goodness, we have all been inundated with politics in this time and in this season. And therefore, if you want to get some politics, then there are plenty of avenues for you to receive politics and what comes along with that. There may be some political tones that we look at as far as stories, and we examine them from a impact standpoint as far as politics and policies. But this is not a Democratic show. This is not a Republican show. This is not a badge box or a allegiance to show. Okay. The ONEALIEN show is based off the mind of the ONEALIEN, who is a free thinker. He is a person who analyzes and evaluates, and that's where he stands on something that he believes in. And it really doesn't matter what jersey they're wearing. What it matters is what's right and what's wrong. What it matters is the moral compass that I try to live by. And what matters is how our everyday lives are impacted, sometimes by politics, a lot of times by politics, and as it trickles down into where we're at and what we're doing. So this is not a political show. However, this is not, we're not going to start the election process. We're not going to sit here and bash our current president or talk about a lot of those things, a lot of the things going on out of Washington, D.C. If you want to get that, there are many, many news stations. If you want to get a real solid right-wing take, you could tune into Fox. If you want to get a left-wing take, you could tune into CNN. So, hey, go ahead. No advertisement on either one of those stations. My goodness, I can't believe I said the name. But tune in if you want to get politics. The ONEALIEN show is not about politics. The other thing that the ONEALIEN show hopefully is not about, and that is depression. All right. Hopefully when you listen to me, then you will not turn off, turn away, or go at the conclusion and feel depressed, because I like motivation. I like to uplift spirits and uplift people and deposit something in their lives that they could use. I'm a very practical person, so depression is nothing that is something that I have personally not struggled with. I believe I've never identified seasons or times when I felt depressed. In general, I've been gifted with a positive attitude on most situations. Positive spin. I like to call it, some people call it the pessimist is the glass half empty person, and then they call the optimist as the glass half full person. And I respect both of those perspectives. However, the ONEALIEN comes with a different perspective, and that is with gratefulness and opportunity of having a glass. So this is not a depressing show. And if you find something depressing about it, then perhaps the thing that is causing that feeling is exposure or vulnerability or self-reflection on some of the topics. The other thing, the last and final thing that I'll say that this show is not, and that is that it is not a timed show, a structured show, we got to do this, we got to do that. Listen, man, it's a time for us to spend together. It's a time for me to express a few things and take you on a journey, a personal journey with you accompanying me. And with that being said, hopefully, prayerfully, and what the goal is that as I go through and as we ride together, that there will be aspects of my life that you can relate to, that you could learn from, or that you could teach me. I'm not here as an expert on all matters and all subjects. I am simply here as a opinion person on all subjects. I do have an opinion. I can develop an opinion rather quickly. So those are the things that we are not. All right. So just so that we're, just so we're clear, and just so we have the proper expectations, we know what the ONEALIEN show is not. And so we're not going to look for that here. All right. Hey, listen, I want to jump right into a segment that I'm calling the Real Deal O'Neal. And it is time for me to talk about a few things that for me are the real deal. Hey, listen, you may have your real deal, but the Real Deal O'Neal has his. And so you might want to call it a rant. You might want to call it, these are my pet peeves. You might want to call it all those things. But for me, it is just simply observations that I have made in my life, and majority of the time frustration comes for me when there is a level of incompetence that I just don't understand. And so let's jump right into it. Hey, this week, the Real Deal O'Neill is going to talk about driving tips for men. Now, I say for men because that's who I'm talking to right now. Are they just for men? Well, certainly there are more than just men driving. So therefore, these tips probably would apply across the board. But as men, I'm talking directly to you. We are going to look at these, and we're going to try to solve it as men ourselves. And hopefully other peoples will get, did I say other peoples? Other people will get something from it too. Driving tips for men, number one. Look, first and foremost, it doesn't matter if it's a law in the book or a sign on the road. Let's get one thing straight, people. When you're driving on the road, there is either one lane and then you're excused, or there are two or more lanes. When there are two or more lanes on any road that you are operating a vehicle on, let's go ahead and set one thing straight. And this is one of the things that, quite honestly, if I was ever to embark on a law enforcement career, I would probably be the biggest jerk to everybody, because this is something that I would pull people over and talk to them about, educate them really quick on the ebb and flow of traffic. Listen, driving tip number one. I know I keep delaying it. Driving tip numero uno. Number one is quite simply stay to the right. Stay to the right. It does not matter. Slower traffic is supposed to stay to the right. How many times are you down a 2-lane road and you get two equally driving speed people, and they are blocking the progress of all the traffic? Listen, stay to the right is driving tip number one. Get your butt over. Okay, if somebody comes up behind you and you are in the left-hand lane, any of the left-hand lanes, then you are to move to the right safely. Turning signal, look for a space, and move over. Move over. No, the rate of your speed has nothing to do with it. I don't care if the posted speed limit is 45 and you're pushing it, going a smooth 55. Okay, if I come up behind you at 56, that means move over. Okay, move to the right. Everybody move to the right. If anybody comes up behind you, that means you are a slower person in this lane. Move to the right. Get out of the way. Slide over. Dip. Turning signal. Right hand turning signal. Slide over. Get it. Go. Move over. Does everybody get that? Driving tip number one. If you are in a left-hand lane and you are not the fastest person in that left-hand lane, get over. All right. Driving tip number one. We're done with that. Everybody understand that? I do not want to pull up to you again in the left-hand lane. Move. Go. Get. All right. I think we got that clear. Number two, driving tip for men. Number two, listen closely. Listen closely. The freeway typically is about 55, 65, maybe 75 miles per hour. Okay. So everybody's going down 55, 65, maybe 75 miles per hour. Everybody's rolling. Everybody's got a proper spacing. Everybody's being safe. Everybody is doing what they're supposed to be doing as law-abiding drivers on the freeway. And the last thing that we need to disrupt the flow of traffic that we have already established is to have Mr. Slow Merger guy. Okay, when you enter into a freeway, when you come off of the ramp and you are getting ready to merge into traffic, you need to be at least within the proximity of what the traffic is going. You cannot merge onto a freeway that's going 55, 65 miles an hour, accelerating at 40 or 45 miles an hour. Stop it. Stop it. Merge means you enter into. Merge means you take your speed and the speed that everyone else is going, and you make sure that they are in conjunction with, and you could merge safely in with the traffic. If you are, oh my goodness, it drives me crazy when I'm going down the freeway and someone has a turning signal on and they are not even accelerating. They're like drifting over to the left. It's like, please, can you man, look I'm slowing. Look, I don't mind tapping my brakes and slowing down a little bit so you could get over. But dude, you've got to accelerate and catch up with us, slide in, and we all could keep going on our merry way. Does that make sense? People merging, man, what is your problem? You can't be 30, 40 miles an hour in a 55, 65, 75 mile an hour lane and think you're going to merge in. You're about to lock everybody's brakes up. Merging means simulate means whatever it means, getting in. All right. Hit that ramp, accelerate to a speed that is a safe, mergeable speed that you're not going to disrupt all the 4 lanes to your left. And then you could slide right in and we all could keep going our merry way. Does that make sense? Please. That's a driving tip number 2 for men. Merge properly. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And number 3, we only have 3 today. These are my rants. This is my pet peeve. This is the real deal. O'Neal talking to you. And number 3 on our driving tips for men is very simply, guys, why are you so indecisive, man? When you are driving operating a big piece of machinery, we need a little bit more decisiveness, okay? Be decisive. Know where you're going. Look ahead. Look around. Know your environment. Stop the distractions. Whatever you need to do to be decisive. What do I mean by be decisive? Well, the first indecisive time is when a person is making a right-hand turn and there are people behind you in the right-hand lane. We understand you need to turn. We understand that you need to slow down in order to make a safe turn. We get all that, but my goodness, do you got to slow down to like 5-6 miles an hour in order to get that turn? This is not Tokyo Drift. You're not going to drift around the corner at 40, 50 miles an hour. We get that. Ease down, make your turn, be decisive and get around that corner, dude. I mean, I'm braking, I'm waiting, I'm braking more, I'm waiting more. Goodness gracious, get around the corner. Okay, be decisive. All right. The other thing, oh my goodness, indecisive is pulling out. How many times you sit and you're waiting for a person to kind of ease a little bit? They're trying to look around, ease out a little bit, look around, like if they're backing out of a parking lot or if they're coming out of a turning thing, if they're coming into the street, that you're traveling. I can see you. I understand what you're getting ready to do. I am, accommodating for that in a certain way. Get out, be decisive. I got people that sit there and think they get so confused. Like, I understand that everybody's brain doesn't move at hyper speed like mine, but still, you got to be decisive. You just got to. The ONEALIEN Show. So that's the third and final real deal O'Neal pet peeve and driving tips for men. Number 3, be decisive. Let's go back from the top. Number 1, stay to the right. Get your butt over. Number 2, merge quick. Hurry up. Number 3, be decisive. You know what you want to do, then do it. How's that sound? Let's start on those 3 things, and we'll see how better our driving gets, at least for everybody around you. All right. Hey, listen, what else is on my mind? What else is on my mind today? Money. Yeah. Income, revenue, resources. I'm always looking for motivation. I'm always looking for ways to produce income. And a lot of times there are principles that I want to make sure that I am displaying when it comes to money. And so as I was looking around this week, I had a meme that popped up that on one of the Instagram entrepreneur or business accounts that I follow. And this was kind of interesting. It posed a question with this meme. And so we're going to talk about it in this segment that I'm entitling Money Matters. There are things of money, obviously, that make this world go round. So the love of money is an issue. Okay, we don't want you to fall in love with it. We don't want you to do things that make sacrifices and things, and to get that almighty dollar. But at the same time, the bottom line is we got to survive in a system that does work off of money, and so money does matter. And so with our segment called Money Matters, I want to ask everyone a question, and it's interesting the different responses that I had in my mind when I made the different choices. There's 4 different choices that we're going to talk about in a second, but the question is really simply, what would you choose? And then there's 4 little pictures. And I'm gonna put this up on our website if it's not already there. But there's 4 pictures, and the question is, which one would you choose? Which one makes most sense or is the most important to you? And then they have four options. The first option is, would you choose $1 million in cash? Okay, so if you could choose out of one of these 4 things, the first one is $1 million in cash. Okay, the second thing, if you could choose one of 4, a lifetime of free traveling for your life, free traveling, book a flight, take a trip, accommodations are paid for, you have a place to stay, you have events to do, free travel. Free flight anywhere in the world for your entire life. $1 million, option number 1. Option number 2, lifetime of free traveling. Okay. Option number 3 on what would you choose is hanging out with the richest people in the world for 2 years. So your option number 3 would be take the top 5 richest people in the world, and you get a VIP pass to their private residence, their private life, their business life, their social life. You get to hang out side by side in the hip pocket of one of the richest people in the world on planet Earth. Okay, 2 years, 2 whole years, 365 days times 2. What is that? 600, 720, 730 or something like that. Okay, for 2 years, you get to hang out every day, VIP access to the richest people in the world. All right, that's choice number 3. Choice number 1, you get $1 million in cash. Here's your duffel bag, right? Here's your briefcase, $1 million in cash. Option number 2, lifetime of free traveling, anywhere you want, anytime you want. Book the flight, it's all taken care of. Go. You can travel for free for life. Ooh, that is tempting. Option number 3 was hang out with the richest people in the world for 2 years. And the final option is, what if I said, hey, listen, here is a winning $100 million ticket, right? Powerball, whatever it is, right? Scratch ticket, whatever. I said, I'm already telling you that there is a 60% chance. That's the question. A 60% chance of winning $100 million, right? Here's your ticket. There's a 40% chance you'll lose it. 6 out of 10 times you're going to win it. And that is your option number 3. So the question is on Money Matters this morning, today, is which one would you choose and why? Which one would you choose and why? Out of the 4 options, once again, $1 million in cash, or lifetime free traveling, or hang out with the richest people in the world, or 60% chance of having a winning ticket for $100 million. Which would you choose? And why would you choose it? I think it's really interesting. Everybody's different perspective on what they value or what they see potential in, and also what they feel like success looks like for them. So $1 million in cash for me would be phenomenal, obviously. It would be a chance to do a lot of things, a lot of projects, and a lot of ideas that I have. It would be the funding behind it. It would be an opportunity to invest. It'd be an opportunity to, let's not lie. Some of us, when we touch $100 million, when we touch 1 million, if we were to touch $1 million in cash, then yeah, I could probably tell you that there would be a little bit of a shopping spree. There are things that, I desire and I want. Okay. These are not needs, but, hopefully I would have enough restraint or enough guidance from some of the mentors and people around that say, hey, well, hold on, John. Let's make sure we don't, blow half of it today. Okay. Because we all know that once you have the provisions for, your mind tends to start rolling on things that you may not even thought about before, but all of a sudden, oh man, I really need this, and oh, I really need that, and man, I wish I could always have this and that, and so $1 million in cash for some people would be a con. It would be a burden. Okay, for other people, $1 million in cash would be would be freedom, right? pay off all debts. I would be debt free immediately. I would be debt free within a day. Debt free. Everybody, hush up, leave me alone. You're paid, right? Certainly would acquire some assets. If I had $1 million, you know, you could do some property, some real estate. You could do some investments. And then, of course, like I said, I would also being a person who has a legacy mind state, okay, meaning a lot of the things that I think about and a lot of things that I do today is to have a better tomorrow, right? And so certainly $1 million would help to establish some of those long-term goals, at least get them rolling. But at the same time, man, I'll say this, and I think a lot of us would agree that $1 million today in 2019 is certainly not what does not go as far as $1 million has done in the past, right? I mean, I remember being a little kid and it was like $1 million, you know, a millionaire, a single millionaire was like, man, you know, they've made it. They're done. They're set for life and all those types of things. Where we all know in this day and age, unfortunately, $1 million, you know, that's going to last you for a while, but you better be smart with it, or otherwise it won't last too long. Does that make sense? So how many of you would take $1 million in cash, right, and do something with it? And what would you do with it? The second option was a lifetime free traveling, which is, oh my gosh, that is very appealing to me because I would love to see the world. There's a million places that I would love to see, bucket list items and other places like that. Man, I want to go to Egypt. I want to see the hieroglyphics. I want to go to South America. There's places in South America that are beautiful. I don't know if I'm a ruins guy, but like the Inca ruins and some of those pictures you see up in the mountains and in the houses and the structures they have, man, that would be awesome. Let's see, where else, man. I'm not really a architect guy, like an old architect guy. You know, some people, you know, they can't wait to go to places like London and places in Europe. Not to say that's not beautiful, not to say that at all, not to say that it wouldn't be a great trip. And certainly if I could travel for free, I would definitely make it by there. But that's, for some reason, that's just not really kind of like a real urgency to go see. Old buildings. I'll tell you, when I was in, I've had a couple opportunities to go to Washington, D.C. and kind of do all the monument walks and all those types of things. And, you know, even there, you know, people will look at the structure and the building and the history. And, you know, it's not that I don't appreciate it. Please relax. It's not that I don't understand the magnitude of the architect of the things, the buildings and what it is. But it's just not really like, man, I'm just not really, don't have any urgency to go check it out. That's not me. Right. But a lifetime of free traveling, my goodness, that would be awesome. Would it not? If you had a lifetime, if you could choose one thing, $1 million so far, option number one, or option number two, would you choose a lifetime of free travel? And why would you do that? Where do you want to go? Option number three is hanging out with the richest people in the world for 2 years. Now, this one right here for me, I'm gonna come back to this one. Let's come back to this one. Let's go to the fourth option, and that was 60% chance of winning $100 million. 60% chance. Now that's a huge chance. 6 and 10, man, $100 million. I might take that. You take that, you got a better than 50% chance of winning $100 million. And obviously with the $100 million, you just won it. And there's a lot of stuff you could do. That's better than 1 million for sure. And with $100 million, you could certainly do a lot of traveling for a lot of times. So some people might want to take that. I think the people that would like that might be the gamblers, like they like taking that chance, or they like their odds, right? Of getting that $100 million. So they'll say, yeah, let me take that and I'll work out the rest. That's 100 times more than 1 million. And that's plenty of travel already built in. So some people would take option number 4, 60% chance of winning. Again, we're talking about money matters. Okay. We all know money matters. We all know that there are matters that money must be applied to. And the last and final option number, I skipped over 3. Let's go back to 3. And that was hang out with the richest people in the world for 2 years. Wow. That is where I landed. That's where I landed. I assessed all of it for me personally. And in the end of the day, I landed on option number 3. And I would choose hanging out with the richest people in the world for 2 years. When I come back, I'm going to tell you why. Hey, this is the ONEALIEN on the ONEALIEN Show. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to come back. We're going to jump back into Money Matters and talk about some other things from there. Be right back. The ONEALIEN Show. Okay, everybody, welcome back to the ONEALIEN Show. Before the break, we were talking about Money Matters, and we had 4 choices on the question that was asked. What would you choose? Option number 1 was $1 million in cash. Option number 2 was a lifetime free travel. Option number 3 was hang out with the richest people in the world for 2 years. And option number 4 was 60% chance of winning $100 million. And I told everybody that before the break that option number 3 is where I landed. Option number 3 was kind of the most appealing to me. Obviously, there were some pros and cons that quickly came to mind in the other options. But I'll tell you something that I have learned very recently in my professional career is a principle. And it goes like this, very simply. It's not like you haven't heard it before, but anytime I'm in a room with individuals smarter than me, then I am happy and I feel like I'm in the right place. So with this right here, to me, that's like the biggest thing. If I could spend 2 years learning everything about the richest, the most wealthiest people in the world, that's like a case study. That's like a crash course. You know, the habits and the spending habits, the saving habits, the investing habits, everything. I would love to see that. The mentality, the way they do a risk assessment, the way they do due diligence. Man, there would be so much. I would soak it all up. And the reason why is because I feel like after the 2 years, I would be even more equipped to get that 1 million in cash or get travel for forever. Or well, I still wouldn't go get a ticket, but you know what I'm saying. And so that's really where I landed. Hey, where would you land? What would you want? If you could choose one of the things, would you choose the cash? Would you choose the travel? Would you choose a winning ticket? Or would you choose to sit under and in the midst of, in the tutelage of the most wealthiest people on the planet, VIP access into their lives, taking notes and everything else to learn from them? Man, that's what I would choose. That's what the ONEALIEN would choose. Anybody. If you know a way I could do it, let me know. 2 years straight. If anybody wants to document it, that's what we could do. If anybody wants to do a documentary, then we will approach the wealthiest people and we'll say we want to do a documentary, and we're going to have a regular, ordinary guy from Arizona, from the desert, and he's going to sit underneath and just get all into your life for 2 years, and we're going to see what you could do with them. That would be great. I would be on it. So, hey, listen, appreciate everybody that has spent some time with me today. I wanted to touch base on one other thing before I get out of here. And really, it falls in line with a kind of a theme or segment that I want everyone to have an opportunity to elevate themselves in their life and their love or in their relationships. And, the next level. Getting better, getting stronger, getting faster in life and in love and in relationships. Okay. Whatever you set out to do, whatever you're motivated to do. I tell people, try to transition from doing what you have to do to doing what you want to do. And that's a hard transition for many of us. And, but whatever you're passionate about, whatever, I like to say it this way. If I told you at 9 o'clock in the morning, tomorrow morning, you were going to go do this, then you would not be able to sleep tonight like it was Christmas, like you were a 5-year-old and tomorrow's Christmas and you got a pink pony downstairs. So what is this? What is the one thing? Cause that's really, hey, you know what? Contact me and I'll tell you some details on how I had to discover that and move in that direction and some of the sacrifices. We'll be talking about it at different times on the ONEALIEN Show for sure. But that's the whole thing. What are you passionate about? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do that will, that will continue to have a fire within you. Cause we all know that, man, we've been on jobs and professions and done all types of things that, we might have been capable of. We may have been very, equipped to do it naturally and from an educational standpoint, intellectually. But at the end of the day, that's not really what we want to do. And at the end of the day, that's not really the grand, oh man, when I was 7, I wanted to do this, right? Go back to when you were 7, go back from 7 to 14 and find out what that awesome thing was that you just love to do, or that you just saw someone doing and you want to do it. Let's explore that. Let's figure that out. One thing is when we're moving, when we want to elevate, that a lot of people fail to do, and myself included. I could tell you many stories of times when I did not accept what I would like to put on everybody today, and that is very simply a helping hand. Now, I didn't say a free hand, or I didn't say a do it for me hand, or I didn't say a carry me along hand. What I said was a helping hand. And I don't want us to get in the way of two things. Number one, ourselves, because we might be too prideful, or we might, just think we could handle it on our own, or we don't want to be vulnerable enough, or whatever it is. And so sometimes we block that help ourselves. And the other thing that I'll say is that when you are accepting a helping hand that's being offered to you, you are also blocking the blessing that the other person has have. I mean, if they're trying to help you, if they're trying to extend a helping hand to you, then, hey, what's the problem? Both of you, it's mutually beneficial, right? So, imparting all that to everybody out there. Listen, do not be afraid to accept a helping hand. We all need it at certain points in our lives. Some of us need it at a lot of points in our lives. That's okay. It reminds me of a story one time when me and my oldest son, he's 24 now, but we were driving and we were in Tempe, Arizona, and we were going through a parking lot. And I just so happened to have some shoes in the back of my car. I think they were his pair of shoes. And there's a homeless man walking across the parking lot. It's hot, Arizona hot. And looking down at his feet, we saw, basically there's holes in them. He's basically walking on the heels of his feet. There's almost no tread between his foot and the concrete. And so I was like, man, my heart went out for him. I'm always looking for areas and people that I could help. So, I said, hey son, let's see what's going on. And so we drove up, pulled up next to him and introduced ourselves, said, hey, how you doing? We're not trying to encroach on you or stop, the progress of wherever you're trying to go and what you're trying to do. But look, hey, we have this brand new pair of Nike shoes, lovely, awesome Nike shoes. And we'd like to, we extended it out to him out of the window, said, hey, they're all yours, buddy. We appreciate it. Be blessed. And it surprised both of us when he looked at us and he said no. And he kind of shifted around and he looked away and walked away. He did not accept the helping hand. So not only was he blocking himself for whatever reason, too proud or had given up hope or depressed or all those types of things that may, cause him to block his own blessing, but he also, blocked our blessing because we wanted to really help someone out. That was what we wanted to do. And that was the deed that we had saw an opportunity to fulfill, and we tried to, but we weren't able to. So, hey, everyone, whatever you're doing in life, please don't hide it. Don't cower behind. Don't stop your own progress, your own elevation by not accepting a helping hand. There's somebody probably around you that has offered in certain ways, maybe a way that they communicate or maybe, they've been there and they've just been waiting for you to reach out to them. It might be accountability partner when it comes to finances or comes to, some of your bad habits. It could be a financial person. It could be, just a person to help you stay on track with a certain focus or a certain goal, whatever it is. Helping hand. We all need helping hands. Okay. And so, don't be afraid to do that. That's what ONEALIEN would like to say to you on his way out is, accept the helping hand. And even as great as accepting that helping hand, don't be afraid to be a helping hand. So when I get off of here, be a helping hand and click on like, click on share, click on subscribe, be a helping hand. I won't block your blessing. I promise. I'll let you go ahead and help me out. Appreciate that. Spread the word, the ONEALIEN Show. It's been great spending some time with everybody. I appreciate it. I love you. Hopefully you got a little something, a little chuckle, a little laugh, a little anything, even if it was that I didn't like it. Hey, hit me up, shoot me a message. Let me know you liked it, you didn't like it. What was good? What What could I stop? What could I continue? And what's a new thing that I can start? You can hit comments. I'll take comments all day long. Give us feedback. Check us out. We're all over social media, at the ONEALIENShow.com, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. All of them. We're there. Check us out. Appreciate you all. One love. The ONEALIEN, aka John O'Neill. We're out. Later.